Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, August the 9th, 2025. It's been quite a long time since I have posted an update on my 67 Nova build. I wanted to just do a little update for you guys and show you everything that I was working on the car and have been getting ready to tear the thing apart probably this fall and put it back on a rotisserie and just proceed to do all the body work, paint, powder coat, everything in the world. So got about 1,600 miles on the car right now. Been driving it around, having a lot of fun with it, pretty much in bare steel. And anyways, just going to turn the camera around. I'll start underneath the car and show you what's going on under there. And anyways, just for anybody who wants to see it. Back into the car underneath here, not too much going on. I ended up switching out my Aeromotive pump here to one that has a speed controller built into it so that the pump runs basically as fast as the pedal you're pushing. So as you sit there and press on the pedal, you hear the motor go rrr. So your pump basically runs in unison with your pedal. That way you're not heating your fuel more than is necessary. I did recently discover that the bolts for my CV joints here and here were not as tight as they should have been. And if you see all of that grease up there and kind of some more there, but particularly over here, I unfortunately kind of slung some grease out of my CV joint there and there. Matter of fact, if you kind of look up inside the wheel, you see all the grease inside the wheel. Yeah, that wasn't the best idea. I have discovered I got myself a little bit of a leak here coming off of my differential housing, but not the end of the world. This morning I got out here and I put some more bend into these trailing arms right here because it was either that or start notching the frame right here. I discovered that these arms were popping up against this frame and creating a tinking sound, so it was either bend the arms or notch the frame. And I decided to just put those arms into my little JD squared tubing notcher and put a notch into them. So that's what's going on here in the back of the car. Up here in the middle, there's really not a whole lot to tell you about. I did get my exhaust dumps put in here. Got those things wired in with some Deutsch connectors. Those things right there are really awesome. Little waterproof connectors. I'm glad that I gave myself the ability in retrospect, with notched slotted holes right here to kind of move my transmission left or right just a little bit in order to make the shifter fit a little bit better in the car. That's a good thing that I did that. Up here in the front of the car, man, oh man, I'm still battling a power steering leak. You can see right there my fittings that are right up in there for your power steering. Getting to them is an absolute nightmare. So I've pretty much at this point just decided, you know what? I'll worry about that when I go to take the car out. It's a tiny little leak, not the end of the world. I have been working on trying out different size wheel spacers. You can see like some of my paint here is removed, on the inside of the wheels. That's because they were rubbing. So been working on that, trying out different size wheel spacers. Matter of fact, just yesterday, I swapped my brake calipers from one side to the other at the advice of Wheelwood because I was experiencing more braking power to my right front than to my left front. I would stop the car and then, this one would lock up and give me a great big black streak in the pavement, and that one wouldn't. And so I swapped the two calipers, and in doing so, I've discovered that I think one caliper is stronger than the other, so I got to send those Wheelwood calipers back to Wheelwood. They were happy to tell me, sure, send them back to us, we'll check them out. And I don't think it sounds like they're going to charge me anything, so appreciate Wheelwood being so easy to work with. Let me lower the car down. I'll show you what's going on up top and in the engine bay. In the trunk back here, you can see that I have removed the deck lid. I did that to try and figure out what in the world is going on. I'm getting some noises from back here, and so I wanted to remove some possibilities. So I took the deck lid off. I got myself a little bit of a fuel leak here with my Rhodes race car's fuel cell. I recently discovered that I had to do this vent line so it makes this great big loop because I was, when I brake the car real hard, I had fuel that was coming through there and basically dumping out the bottom of the car and covering my fuel pump in fuel. So I was like, well, that's no good. Got to do something about that. I recently came out here and I welded up these seams down the deck lid there. You can see all of that weld down through there. I put a bunch of weld in there, and I did that so that I ultimately had this really nice crisp line all the way across there. I did that on both sides, so when you do put the deck lid on there and you close it, it's just a super crisp looking edge. I did that exact same thing for the doors as well. My gap looks a little bit large right this moment because it's on the lift, but if I set it back on its tires, that closes up and it's a really, really nice door gap. So that's what I did for that stuff. Finally finished welding up this piece of 1/4-inch rod that I used when I deleted the drip rail right there. Let me check inside, see if there's anything going on inside there. On the inside of the car, about the only thing to really report is I finally just gave up on this idea that the horn would actually work when I disconnected, you know, the steering wheel from the column. I kept trying to have it connect through the quick adapter right here and ultimately just couldn't seem to come up with a way to make that happen. So you'll notice now I've got one of these little bungee cords, kind of racing style cord that just leads right up underneath the dash right there. And so good news is, well, I got the battery turned off, but the horn does work and I can just grab the thing and, you know, pull the steering wheel off the car if I want to, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see what's going on here in the engine bay. Can't remember, frankly, what I've been working on the car under here. Everything is it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not having really any kind of problems out of anything up in here. Everything is working well. Clutch, brakes, all Wilwood. Motor has proven to be completely reliable. Got 1,600 miles on it. Haven't had any problems whatsoever. I have been doing some more notching and whatnot, trying to get that air conditioning compressor to where it fits around my Detroit Speed inner fender and doesn't touch anything. That's been kind of troublesome, but not the end of the world. Yeah, everything on the underhood of the car has it's been going great. I don't remember if I told you guys that I had made this, but I just made a little panel right here that comes across and kind of takes up that gap in between the aluminum radiator core support that I made and the grill. And so just made a little custom panel through here, cut myself some little custom CNC bracketry right there, kind of, you know, cut it to where everything goes around, what is that, the condenser, I think we call those for the AC system. So anyways, that's what's going on up here. Man, that's really about it with the car. So basically, I'm just doing shakedown on the car, trying to find, you know, any little idiosyncrasies that I need to address. Those trailing arms underneath the car were a perfect example of that, something that was binding and hitting the frame under a really good bump. And so, you know, you don't want to sandblast those things, powder coat them, and then discover, you know, after you put the car together that, oh, well, they hit the frame. So perfect example of the type of stuff that I'm trying to find and address before I run off and tear the car down this fall. Still got a few little ghost noises that the car is making. I'm working on getting the brakes hammered out on it, so getting really, really close to tearing the thing down for the final time, and really looking forward to you know, doing all of the blasting, painting, powder coating, undercoating, all of that stuff that makes it look, you know, like an actual new restored car. So anyways, pretty excited, man. Click the subscribe button if y'all want to follow along. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all be good.